you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.
As you guys already know, 2 more players are added to the COVID/reserve list. Defensive end Clelin Ferrell and safety Lamarcus Joyner. As you guys already know, Trent Brown and Corey Littleton were already on the list from last week and the week before then. But it's kind of crazy to me because it seems like every single week there's another Raider player on the COVID/reserve list. Now, is this whole thing a fluke or not? That's beyond my pay grade, but it's just crazy because we lose another 2 players. You guys already know that they got to go through the 5-day protocol for COVID-19. They have to clear it in order for them to play. And as always, you guys already know, just because they got put on the COVID/reserve list does not mean that they have COVID-19. This can also mean that they came into contact with somebody that had COVID, so they would have to be put into quarantine for 5 days. If they did test positive, then most likely they will not be playing this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. If the test come back negative, then that means that they will have a chance to play this week versus the Chiefs, but they won't be at practice. Clelin Ferrell has started in every single game this season, tallying 19 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 7 quarterback hits. Lamarcus Joyner, on the other hand, has also started in every single game this season, with 46 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 pass deflections. With the way things have been going so far this season with the Raiders, with injuries and people being placed on the COVID/reserve list, I'm surprised that they have overcome all the odds and are still sitting at 6-3 right now, second in the division. Losing Lamarcus Joyner and Clelin Ferrell this week is a huge blow for the team, especially facing the Chiefs, who are coming off of a bye week. In a week like this, getting ready for prime time, the Raiders will need all their weapons, offensively and defensively. Clelin Ferrell, who hasn't had a sack so far this season, has been a main contributor in the run defense and also has put a lot of pressure on the QB. Lamarcus Joyner, on the other hand, is starting to find himself on this defense. Paul Gunther is finally starting to put him at safety for a couple of plays, and he's been doing terrific. And one of the games, he had back-to-back plays to help seal the game for the Raiders. I'm pretty sure that Patrick Mahomes and company have been circling this date since they got whooped a couple of weeks ago by the Raiders, because if you really think about it, or you don't really have to think about it, their only loss this season is against us, the Las Vegas Raiders. And I know they're a little bit salty after that loss, and they're gonna want to come out there in Vegas and whoop our ass. But sorry about it, I don't think that's gonna happen. Then again, what does this mean for the Raiders versus Chiefs Sunday night football game on prime time? Now that the Raiders have 2 cases, well, it's not really cases, but 2 people placed on the COVID-19 list, and also the Chiefs having 3 players placed on the COVID-19 list as well, what does this mean for the game? Could the NFL reschedule our game to a sooner date? Because you guys know a couple of weeks ago against the Browns, the Raiders were supposed to play on prime time on Sunday night football. Then the Raiders had a couple of cases, which caused the NFL to move our game forward instead of backwards, which is still kind of confusing to me, but we already know how the NFL does the Raiders. They don't really like us, and we don't really like them. But this week, the Raiders have another primetime game that could be in jeopardy. This is a huge game, and this is a game that a lot of Raidernation is really looking forward to. So I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL want to move our game forward. I hope they do move it back, if anything. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to move us up to Thursday night football, because I don't know, they probably think it'd be better for our team. But we are playing the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL's darling, so they might just keep us on Sunday night football. As of right now, I do not know the status of Corey Littleton after being placed on the reserve list last week, but we'll find out more in these coming days. But most likely, I believe that Littleton will return this Sunday against the Chiefs. Now, the big thing is, in Littleton's absence, Nicholas Morrow stepped up in a huge way for this Raiders defense. He did have 5 tackles and 1 sack, and he was looking really great out there in this defense. My question to you guys, if Littleton is able to come back this week against the Chiefs, do you guys still think that the Raiders should start Nicholas Morrow over Littleton? We'll see. Now let's talk about some victory laps. So reports are that the Raiders, after whooping the Kansas City Chiefs earlier this season, had a victory lap around Arrowhead Stadium celebrating in a bus. I mean, is this true or not? I don't know. But these are reports that are going around, and I know the media is trying to hype this whole story up in midst of our rivalry game this Sunday on prime time. Andy Reid was asked a question about what he thinks about the Raiders celebrating and having a victory lap around Arrowhead Stadium in their first matchup. But let's hear what Andy Reid had to say about this.
Listen, they won the game, so they can do anything they want to do. They end up winning the game. That's not our style, but we'll get ourselves back ready to play, and that's where we're at.
Oh yeah? Well, what is your style, Andy? Shit, I mean, if we haven't beaten a team in over 6 years and we finally whoop them in their stadium, shit, I'd be running victory laps as well. But I guess there was more to the story, or allegedly more to the story, as John Gruden was asked the same question. So let's hear what John Gruden had to say about it.
I mean, you can find a smart aleck bus driver in Kansas City who made some snide comments when we got on the bus. Maybe that's why we drove around the stadium, just to tick him off. You know, this is ridiculous. Next question.
So you're telling me that the bus driver, who I assume is a Queez fan, started talking his shit to the Raiders before the game, and the Raiders went out there and handed the Chiefs their first L of the season. They come back onto the bus and they tell his candy ass to drive around the stadium so we can celebrate all over Arrowhead. Now, if this is true, then John Gruden and Meg Thee Stallion got something in common. They both a savage. Okay, now I know that wasn't really that funny. Now, whether this is true or not, you could tell that John Gruden didn't give two flying fucks about this question at all. And we really shouldn't, because who really cares if the Raiders did or not? Now, Raider Nation, what do you think? Do you think that John Gruden and his team should really care about what anybody's saying? Or do you think that the fans should care that the Raiders went out and supposedly had a victory lap around the stadium? That's what you call a slow day in news. Alright, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today on this episode of Nation News. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more, then smash that like button. It'll let me know that you guys enjoy these type of videos. If this is the first time you're watching this video, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this one. With that being said, until the next video, Raider Nation, this is your boy Some More Raider, and your boy is, yeah.
And you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.